and turn
For
up.
years, VMUG UserCons have been where our community came to life.
It changes jobs into careers. What we do here changes people's lives.
My first UserCon changed everything. I found the community and I loved it.
You'll learn a lot at a VMUG, but the best thing you'll leave with is the contact information of other attendees. You may walk in alone, but you're going to leave with a strong network.
It wasn't just another tech event, it was a homecoming.
UserCons have shaped careers, built friendships, and sparked innovation. But as IT evolves, so must we. That's why in 2026, we're turning the page. Welcome to the next chapter of our journey. VMUG Connect, multi-day, multi-experience, events that deepen learning, connection, and community. This year's inaugural VMUG Connect brought members together around the world, and the energy was undeniable. Now we're taking that momentum to the next level. More time to dive deep into VMware technologies. More space to collaborate with partners. More peers, more scale, and more ways to connect globally and locally.
VMUG Connect is about showing up for each other and for what's next.
It's a promise to deliver richer experiences and deeper value.
It's built on everything UserCons gave us and everything the future demands.
We're not leaving UserCons behind. We're building on their legacy. Join us at VMUG Connect.
That's right, everyone. So we are moving to a Connect model for 2026. And you can see on the screen,
VMUG UserCons have been where our
video again. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So you can see registration is open right now. You can see the locations that we're in. We're going to be all over the place. So make sure you check out these Connects. These are multi-day event. Pricing is going to be anywhere from $250 to $620, depending on if you're an Advantage subscriber, early bird, all those kind of things. Like I said, Reg is open. So go check that out on our website to find out all the details about Connect. And until midnight, you can use Launch 10 and save 10% off your ticket. So that is a great way to make some savings there right out of the gate. Choose whatever location you like and make sure you sign up for that using that Launch 10. And of course, if you're an Advantage subscriber, we have got the VIP treatment for you. There's going to be exclusive content there for you. The big thing is a free on-site certification. So you have a free cert sit if you're an Advantage subscriber. And we hear from members all the time. They want to get VCF certified. We had the DC UserCon yesterday and we had certifications there and people were passing the tests. It was an exciting time. So go get your VCP, VCF at Connect or at Explore or at a VMUG, wherever. Just make sure that you're getting certified. And at Connect, we will be taking care of you there for all Advantage subscribers. And if you're not, you can still do your certification there. But of course, we encourage you to do Advantage. We're also looking for content. Now, this is what makes VMUG great, right? It's peer sharing. It's us getting up there and talking about our successes and our challenges and how we overcame that. Everybody has a story. I'm a big believer in that. And your story, you might think, well, everybody has done a vSphere upgrade. But you telling that vSphere upgrade story is going to resonate with our members. It always is the highest rated sessions, the peer presentations. And look, many of you now are deploying the full VCF, so we certainly want that content. So whether you're just starting out or whether you're fully embracing VCF and the cloud operating model, we want to hear from you. Now, to sign up for this, all we need is a title and an abstract. So don't feel like you've got to build everything out. You can build that out later. We can work with you on that. In fact, if you're curious about this and you want to learn more, we are doing an office hours where you can connect up with, I'll be on this call with other VMUG members and VMUG team to talk about the things that we have to help you on that journey, getting ready to speak, whether it's going over the deck with you or giving you ideas or brainstorming. Use us to practice. That's fine too. So we've got this office hours session coming up. If you're thinking about it, even thinking, just slightly thinking about it, come join this, because this is a career accelerator for you. The ability to speak and articulate what you need to in front of an audience. You know, whether you're in IT or whether you're in marketing, you're always selling something. It could be, hey, boss, I need to get additional money for security or to deploy VCF or whatever the case is. This will help you in your career and it will help your company as well. So that's the big announcement. And now we are pleased to have Paul Turner come and do the keynote. And, you know, Paul, of course, is the Chief Product Officer of VMware Cloud Foundation at Broadcom. And what's amazing is he sets a direction for VCF. And our members tell us a lot. Like one of the big reasons they join VMUG is access to Broadcom and access to these experts and understand where the direction is going. And folks, it doesn't get much higher than Paul Turner. Of course, he's a seasoned speaker. He's spoken at many VMUGs this year already. If you did not see him on main stage at Explore in Vegas, go watch that video. It's a fantastic one. And it's great to have Paul part of this. So Paul's going to come on and talk about what the future is of VCF. And very important is we will be doing a Q&A, a live Q&A at the end. So use the Q&A tool and we will see those questions and ask those questions of Paul. Again, this is unprecedented access just for the VMUG users. So with that, Paul, I will hand it over to you. Thank you very much for being here. Take it away.
Brad, thanks a million. And actually great to be on with the group. So let me just share some content here and get started. Whoops, sorry there, 1 second. My mistake. Okay, you can see that. So good. So great to be on with the group. And I was actually really enjoying kind of listening to everything as and kind of watching all of the chat. Because we got people on from Paris, from Abu Dhabi, from Oslo, from Texas, from Canada, from India, and from London, and from Paris, where I am right now. This truly is a global group, and it's great to be in front of the VMUG again. So thank you, and hopefully you're going to learn a lot from today's session. You're going to find it fun and exciting, and we'll get to your Q&A questions at the end. But the first thing I really want to start with is, you know, a thank you. Thank you to you as the VMUG community. I like to think of, you know, one of the powers that we have is our technologists, and our technology community are the things that actually drive a focus and a success of product. The product does not get adopted without people like you and our community of users, our community of technology experts, our community of partners who actually help us achieve success. And help us deliver better data center experience, a better operational experience, and deliver on the private cloud for customers. So thank you. And, you know, if you think back over 2025, it was actually a really interesting kind of year. It was a really interesting year in that I truly think it was a year where VMware and VMware now as part of Broadcom got back and showcased that we are all about innovation, about how can we drive future products forward. And of course, with that, VCF 9, and I'll give you some updates, of course, on VCF 9, but I'll also be showing you where we're going next and what's holding in the future. But the second is very much on adoption. And, you know, we are going through a major data center shift for customers. There's a lot more we can do to actually build an agile cloud experience, and similar to what you can get up on AWS, on Azure, on Google Cloud. That's possible in your data center, not just possible in your data center, but possible in cloud service provider data centers. It's possible up on hyperscaler data centers, and it can be the same kind of common cloud experience with open interfaces. But we all need to work on how do we actually drive that adoption. And then the third thing is a big focus for us in 2025 was certifications. How do we help enable you, all of you experts out there, with knowledge about our product, knowledge about the new, you know, not just virtualization, but actually extending into full IaaS stack and the automation and operations that you need to actually deliver a private cloud experience. And, you know, if you think about it, VCF 9 was all about that. And we actually promised we would deliver it at Explore back in 2024 Explore, and we delivered it. We delivered that promise in June of this year, and very pleased with the success so far. But it's a big change. We converged all of our groups together: networking, storage, compute, our operations, our automation, all of those teams, more than 5,000 engineers in the central team now, driving and delivering on one product for all of you. One interface for kind of the cloud operations with multi-tenancy built into it, consumption capability in there so that you can actually manage those tenant users. You can look at pricing and chargeback, but also operational monitoring and reporting, certificate management, all of the capabilities you need to actually manage the cloud experience properly. VMs and containers native, of course, in the platform. I'll touch on that a little later. Sovereignty and security of the platform, and cost control. But it's all down to how do we take that and deliver on success. And I was really excited actually to get on stage at Explore and show these kind of results in front of customers. 9 out of top 10 Fortune 500 companies are committed to VCF, not just vSphere anymore, but VMware Cloud Foundation. 85% of financial services, 90% of public sector. You can look at the stats down below, but it really is, we've turned the corner in terms of adoption and interest in customers. Now we need help from all of you and from all of us in actually helping people to achieve that success. This is not just about them committing to VCF. It's about how do we actually deliver on that success across all of the leading enterprises and actually help change operations for our customers. And it was many more customers as well. This is just a kind of snapshot of some of the logos, but you can see it's fairly extensive. But I think most important, and we did this at Explore, and I thought I'd repeat it here, most important is to hear from technology experts like you. And these are names you probably know already. I think you know who William Lamb is, or Eric, or Duncan, or Melissa. I think you know these names, and I would hope that you'd enjoy hearing from them instead of me. So why don't we hear 9-0 from their perspective?
We all know the drill with patching. Schedule your maintenance windows, migrate your workloads, reboots, and pray that nothing goes sideways. It's really time consuming. You need to repeat this a couple hundred times across your environment. This is why I'm super excited for live patching in VCF 9, a true game changer. Patch your ESX host with 0 reboots, 0 migrations, and 0 downtime. Your weekends are now back. When a new patch drops, head over to VCF Operations, your single place to download, schedule, and deploy. Fast, simple, and secure.
We all know threats are getting worse every day. Your perimeter, it's not enough anymore. Ransomware will find your data and lock it, steal it, or leak it online. That's why I'm excited about VCF 9 SecOps Dashboard. I can stay one step ahead. Data at rest encryption is built in, so your data is protected before hackers even get close. Plus, it watches who's accessing what and flags anything suspicious. Brilliant.
Before, we were constantly console hopping. One for capacity, another for certificates, health checks elsewhere. It was scattered, manual, and easy to miss critical stuff. Now VCF Health and Diagnostics is built right into VCF Operations. One view for your entire private cloud stack. Seamlessly monitor health, track capacity, and catch expiring certificates early. All in one place. Finally.
One of the biggest storage challenges we used to have was efficiency.
especially with duplicate data spread across multiple disk groups and hosts. But now, with vSAN 9.0, we finally introduced global deduplication, which scans the entire cluster for duplicate data without actually interfering with the virtual machines, because it runs post-process, so there's no impact from a performance perspective. It has made storage planning simpler, it reduces cost, and it helps getting administrators more out of the hardware they already own. And on top of that, with memory tiering in vSphere 9.0, we're also cutting compute costs by offloading cold memory pages to high-speed storage.
Creating a virtual private cloud can be complicated, requiring NSX skills, network expertise, and multiple teams. Even in vSphere, it was manual and time-consuming. With VCF 9, that's changed. VPCs can now be created in under 30 seconds right from the vCenter. No handoffs, no network knowledge, just simple, intuitive workflows with built-in multi-tenancy. Fast, easy, efficient. Even my mom can do it.
So hopefully you all really enjoyed that, and you know, it's kind of great to, I cut it short at the end, but it's kind of great to hear from people just like you, technology specialists, people who are, you know, VC experts, which because I think we're at a very interesting turning point, an interesting turning point where we built on what VMware had announced, the software-defined data center, quite a few years ago. We are truly delivering on that, integrating the product. That's what 9.0 is about. And the great news is we've already got to more than 500 customers who've deployed 9.0. We're accelerating that on a pretty rapid path. So we're moving really quickly, and we hope that you can help us kind of move more of the customers along and actually see value in the product that we're building and give us feedback on things that we can do better. So associated with that, a really important part of getting adoption is that we help you to understand how do you plan and prep for 9.0 adoption, how do you do the design and architecture, and then how do you deliver day 2 operations. And these are going to be available to you. We'll give you a PDF afterwards of this. You can look at these links, but all of this is available to you today to actually help you get started, to look up our design lag, to look up upgrade guidance, to look at how do you actually set up different architectural practices in terms of good operational practices and runtime. And we're going to continue to do more of that and deliver that for you to actually help you implement the product. And, you know, last year, if we look back, great year in terms of getting people certified. More than 14,000 certifications were done last year. These are VCF level certifications. So it's getting people like you all up to speed in terms of what's the latest in terms of the product, the capability. We've included free home use licenses. More than 60,000 cores of VCF have actually been given away for free for customers for use. We've got Workstation Pro and Fusion, which we've made available for free as well. And then as part of the certifications, you will actually, after achieving certification, get not just the VCF licenses, but actually vDefend and AVI licenses as well. So doing what we can to actually help enable you as a set of customers, both with low-cost certifications, free as we do it as part of events, so that you can actually do them as part of the VMUG events, as part of Explore events. And hopefully we'll continue this and we'll have your commitment on it. And thank you for the engagement so far. So 2026, I thought this would be kind of fun. It's actually the year of the fire horse, and everybody knows kind of Chinese zodiac, and you know the year of the horse, and of course it's a 12-year kind of phenomenon of every 12 years it's a different kind of animal designation, and the horse is known for kind of really, you know, fast agility and actually being kind of very a very forward-looking kind of animal. But the fire horse is actually 2026. This happens only once every 60 years. And fire horse is actually not just the agility that you get from a horse, but it also brings in the amazing achievement that you can get. So it's an extreme year in terms of the year of the horse. And it's something I think is so pertinent to us, is if you think about 2025 and 2026, they're all about how do we drive innovation? How do we actually change the data center together? And I think we've got a huge opportunity. This is the year of the fire horse. But innovation needs innovators. And so what I want to talk to you today about is certainly some of the new innovation that we're driving, but I also want to talk about how can you as innovators, how can you get up to speed on that innovation, and how can we work on it together? So let's drive the innovation side first. So a couple of kind of key areas that I want to cover today. Sorry, just one second. One is, of course, modern apps. This is not just a platform for VMs. This is a platform for virtual machines, for AI applications, and for container-based applications and modern applications. And so for that, we continue to expand on VKS, the native Kubernetes service, just like you have AWS EKS, just like you've got Google GKE. The native one that's in the cloud that you deliver, VCF, is VKS, and a much easier way to own and operate and deliver container-based applications for customers. We took it further than that with something called Chisel containers that allow us to actually build a security optimized one. Private AI, the work we are doing on not just GPU vMotion, which we delivered in 9.0, but enhancing the performance of our AI foundation and building better resource management so you truly deliver GPU as a service. Edge, how we deliver zero-touch provisioning. I'll show you that and this is upcoming features that we're delivering. Security, our advanced cyber compliance, and of course, enhancing core. S3 object storage, VPC, and how do we simplify them inside in vCenter even further than we've done today. And then advancing our ecosystem. I'll tell you more about that and actually announce more about that next week in Frankfurt at Explorer. So first, I hope many of you have already tried vSphere Kubernetes Service. This is the simplest way of actually deploying Kubernetes along with your platform, because all of the services that you need to run Kubernetes, and Kubernetes requires things like Pinniped for identity and access control. It requires Prometheus for monitoring. It requires Valero for backup services. You need a registry service like Harbor. You need Antria for your networking interfaces. You need a service mesh for being able to communicate properly and to manage the interaction between container-based apps. So all of these services need to get delivered. All of those services are actually delivered to you as part of VKS and are all part of VCF. And so you get CNCF certified Kubernetes, you get all the services that you need. We extended it now with 24-month support for the Kubernetes, even the minor versions. So this is pretty powerful. So you get almost double the length of time for a supported platform. We can update it than the open source. We can update it independently. We brought in, of course, multi-cluster management. So you're able to manage clusters across different VCF instances, all in a central way. So really nice way to do it. Policy and backup at scale, at least across vCenter instances, I should clarify, across vCenter instances within a VCF domain. So very powerful, all provided and all available now in VCF. So as you look at, VM apps, we know we're great at that. We're great at the container side of things. Try it, use it, get it into customers. I think you'll find it's very, very powerful. And I think you'll enjoy it. But we're not just stopping there. We are continuing to commit on open source. And I wanted to kind of emphasize this. As a platform, VCF is it's a private cloud platform delivered for you as software, so you can implement that into your deployment of choice, cloud or non-cloud. But we also run a completely open source platform on top for applications. And that is a Kubernetes-based platform runtime so that you can build your application layer to be cloud independent. Because while you have a proprietary cloud with AWS and a proprietary cloud with Google Cloud, you do have a proprietary cloud in terms of software with VCF, but we're building it so that you've got a completely open application ecosystem and a portable application ecosystem and completely CNCF compliant. And as part of that, we've originated a number of the projects that are inside an open source. We are fully supporting a set of other projects, and we are continuing with that commitment. We're the top 5 long-term. We've been the top 5 committer into the Kubernetes community ever since the foundation of Kubernetes, and we will continue to do that. And another key vendor in the Kubernetes ecosystem and in the apps ecosystem is, of course, Canonical Ubuntu. And we announced with them that all of Ubuntu, and it's with enterprise support, with all the security patching and capability, is now available for you in VCF. Not just for your container apps, but actually for your VM-based applications as well. So you now have a fully supported, we provide the support, third-party support then through Canonical by us. But you have got full support, you get all of the updates, you get the patches, you've got a full quality platform for developing both your VM applications and your container-based applications. So very powerful, but more than that, we delivered chisel containers, which are the way that we take a container, optimize out all the libraries that are not needed, and actually make that available. And so these really highly optimized kind of runtimes for the container environment, minimizing the security risk. And we've extended it with AI-ready images so that you can make GPU enablement very easy as you deliver new services and new containers, because most AI apps are delivered now as container-ready images. And then VKS, we're continuing to innovate. So I mentioned, of course, the things on the left. We just released 1.3.4 as new Kubernetes releases. We try to come out within about a month to 6 weeks of every Kubernetes release, which is faster than almost everyone else in the market. I think AWS and us are the fastest into the market in terms of delivering the latest Kubernetes for you. But we also extend that with 24-month support, including the minor versions. Unified add-on management, we're making it easier for you to bring extra plugins into the environment. You can, of course, use just native Kubernetes APIs into your cluster if you need to, because it is CNCF compliant. But we're also making it easy to actually manage those add-ons across sets of clusters. And then something called fast deploy, which is how rapidly we can actually deploy new images faster for you because of the way all of our background that we have as a virtualization vendor. And improvements in terms of scale. So there's a number of areas that we're continuing to push the innovation of VKS. On the AI side of things, we're also innovating. And while there's lots of things I can talk about, broad support across, Dell, you'll see we announced with AMD recently. We already have very strong support with NVIDIA, and we announced a number of new processors, new GPUs that we support from them. We have our Intel support that we announced. But importantly is to look at the kind of performance. And this is a recent benchmark, an MLPerf benchmark, the latest one that we actually just did and completed 3 weeks ago. The announcement and the blog just went out, I believe, on this. But it's pretty impressive. Look on the virtualized performance over on the right. You're basically getting better than bare metal, or at least equivalent to bare metal in almost all cases. Okay, maybe 0.99 isn't quite 1. So I'm a little off on that benchmark, but I'm better in, the Llama 70B model, with the server-based model, better on the third column as well. I mean, this is powerful. There isn't a difference, and that's really what you can see. So you get all the benefits of virtualization without the impact. We are going to continue to innovate. We're doing more work now to make AI more powerful by doing resource management and sharing across AI instances. On Edge, I said I would talk about Edge innovation. We deliver this already in 9.0. So people aren't aware of some of the cool things that we've already done in 9.0. We've already got the ability to actually do edge deployments of VKS out at the edge site. We're able to do Git-based management of the application images. So you share it into a Git repository. It's then available out onto the ESX host. The ESX host effectively wakes up, look at the Git repository, sees if it needs to pull down a new manifest of the application, and updates itself. You don't need to manage all of those application images. But what about bootstrapping those hosts? How about zero-touch provisioning? Wouldn't it be nice if you could actually then manage the kickstart file, again, probably into a Git repository, and then point your bootstrap to that environment and auto-enable hosts out at the edge nodes as you need to, and automatically image those hosts. That's zero-touch provisioning. That's in development right now, planned for our next release. So we're going to continue to innovate in this space. Security, we announced at Explore our our advanced cyber compliance. And this is an area where we're taking it further, because we're taking all of our carbon black capability to actually look at ransomware and actually detect if we've got infected kind of runtime environments, and bring that into the data center so that you get all the benefits of SRM, all the benefits of VCDR, which is VM-based replication, but you also have the ability to be able to highlight those off, target them off into a secure zone, and then do discovery of whether there actually is an infected ransomware attack on that. And if there is, you can actually unwind time and bring back the original snapshot before the application was infected. All of that as part of advanced cyber compliance and beyond, because we're bringing SALT capabilities into this as well. So you can do it for your applications, as well as your operating system images, as well as our core platform itself. And better incident and cybersecurity response, particularly as we start looking at CBSS 7+ issues, and how do we actually help you with a more secure, compliant runtime environment. And then the last area is, of course, core innovation. We wouldn't go anywhere without talking about the core product. And the core product is the IaaS product: storage, networking, compute. And on storage, we're delivering it's in development. Again, next release is an S3 native object storage in vSAN. This gives you the capabilities that many developer applications need. Usually not a lot of data, but they like the programmatic interface to be able to save an object into a store and programmatically retrieve it. And that's what S3 is very powerful for. So native part of vSAN. And on top of that, we're extending our networking capability, which is our VPC-ready environments. You heard Eric chat about that a little earlier, if you were listening to the video. But the VPC, all capabilities built into vCenter, and we're taking that further in terms of enablement so that you can actually see how easy it is to actually build the full VPC environment. So further improvements in terms of making that simpler and easier to deploy. And then ARM. So ARM is still very early in the data center. We're seeing it in parts and pockets. It's very interesting, and we've actually had the fling out there for a number of years. Maybe some of you have already tried it, maybe at home on some of your the smaller NUC-based environments. But in the data center, it's got potential. It's not there yet, but we are supporting it and this is in development right now. We're going to support it on a limited availability way, onto the VCF Ampere-based environments. And so that'll be on the Ultra and Ultra Max server environments. So we're kind of watching that space, see what'll happen with it, but we're going to be there, and we're going to continue to innovate on the core. And there's lots more actually on core innovation. Watch this space. I couldn't tell you about a few things because just timing-wise, we actually have Explore on tour Frankfurt next Tuesday. It is, and watch for the press announcements that day. We've got some really cool announcements that are all about core innovation, open platform, and how we continue to expand the open hardware approach that we think is so important for all of you, and of course our standards and open standards support. So the basis for innovation, and innovation is great, but it doesn't go anywhere without innovators. And that's people like you. You're the ones who take our innovation, and you took vSphere originally and changed the way data centers operate, because it wasn't just about encapsulating applications and getting more efficiency off a server. It was that you can use that to actually standardize the way we operate data centers and become much more predictably, more kind of configuration planned in terms of the way that you manage data center activities. It's innovators who make the difference and make innovation interesting and it's how you apply that innovation is key. And so for that, we really need your help, and we want you to be very, very successful at doing so. And, if you take a look at kind of the cloud environments, right? Continuous learning and certification is the key to kind of build that cloud expertise. And there is a big skills gap. I mean, 63% of IT leaders see a shortage in IT professionals, and 76% of enterprises plan to expand cloud services through private cloud. So you've got a need and a demand, but a skills gap. So let's work on how do we actually continuously relearn? How do we actually get new skilled people into this? And we want to help you with that. And as part of that, we're very focused on giving free training. So all of our online training is available, all the digital learning, all that on-demand content. Those extensive library of content is available to you, including guided labs. And instructor-led training is then a follow-on capability that you have to actually look at how can we actually get you through and deliver certifications as well. But this is important, and as part of that, we want to make you, help you get up to speed and use the extended set of content. And this release was the first time we actually had all of the certification content, the on-demand content available actually day zero. And there's a few certifications themselves that lagged by a few months, but all of the content had been updated with V9 content. And we're going to try to keep that on an ongoing basis, because keeping the skilled workforce is very important for us. Now, for VMUG Advantage, there's a lot of benefits for you, and we do want to encourage VMUG Advantage, because you get 50% discount off exams. If you attend one of the premium VMUG shows, you actually will get free exams at those shows. But then if you pass those exams, and that's the VCP, VCF admin, or VCP, VCF architect, then you'll get free licenses. And those free licenses are 128 cores of VCF for 3 years. You also, though, get advanced firewall, you get ATP, and you get AVI load balancer, 12 units of AVI load balancer. So very flexible. We want you to do the certifications, but then we want you to get a benefit at the back end of it, which is free licenses. And let's hope more and more of you can do that, and we're going to encourage that. And many of you out there asked about our distinguished expert program, our VCDX. We are continuing that, and I am really pleased to just announce that we will have 3 levels. We'll have a VCF architect, a VCF administrator, and a VCF support, all as VCDX experts. Think of VCF support as the operational runtime expert of the platform. The administrator is, of course, the design expert, and the implementation expert, standard VI admin. And then your VCF architect is the person who actually does the design-ready environment to plan out a full private cloud environment. These new certification programs are going to be available. And VCDX, if you look at it, I love the fact that we have a quote from the #1 VCDX in the world, the first person who ever had VCDX certification, John Arashad. So thank you, great to see that. But you can see that becoming a VCDX expert should be one of your goals. It's a premium environment. We have lots of customers who need that expertise, and you can be one of them to help. And that's where I'd like to leave you. Invest in your career progression. We're trying to make it possible for you with hands-on labs, with learnings and certifications, our events and training, Explore. You'll see we're doing Explore on tour, because we want to have that as a technology learning event where you get more hands on keyboard, you get certifications at those events. We complement it with all of the events that VMUG runs. So hopefully we can do that, because innovation needs innovators, and we're going to deliver on the innovation. We need your help to deliver the innovators and to become the innovators and actually help us drive and help customers achieve private cloud success across any region and any zone. So with that, a little bit of a marketing thing right there at the very end, but I would love to open it up to kind of questions, and I'll stop sharing, and maybe Brad, we can see what kind of questions have come in during that time. Do I have a Brad?
I get my audio going. All right, I'm coming there.
There we
It
go.
took me a
I
little
do have you there.
second there.
See?
Yeah. You know, we're all here. We're all here. Well, great keynote. I appreciate that, and lots of good points in there. The chat has been active. The Q&A has been active. We've got experts in the Q&A to answer whatever questions that you might have. So a lot of them have been asked and answered. So good on that. But please continue to put things in the chat, or excuse me, in the Q&A. That way we'll be sure to see it, because of course the
Yeah,
chat's
we've got
very active.
we've
So
got
put
some
that.
raised hands actually as well, Brad. So maybe we can, I don't know if we can
Okay.
unmute for raised hands, but it'll be kind of cool.
Yeah, well, let's see if we can do that. I think Erica on my team is backstage, so we'll
Yeah.
see if we can make that happen. In the meantime, some of the questions were, how often should we expect to see releases of VCF 9? And I think a lot of people, now that it's subscription, they're thinking that these, updates and new features and advancements and those kind of things are going to be coming on a regular basis. Is there any insight on when customers should be expecting that?
Yeah. So we're on very standard releases. So we're trying to get away from funny nomenclature like update 1, update 2, update 3. No, there's 9.0 a major release. There's 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, which are minor releases. They are full feature releases, just by the way. Those we expect to have a release cadence of 9 months. So and then every 3 years we actually do another major release. So we're on 9-month release cadence, 3 years for major releases. We actually then do quarterly update releases. Those will have lots of bugs. They'll have feature fixes. They'll have some minor features into them. Think of those as third dot level releases. But that's kind of the release. Think of it as, 3 year, 9 month, 3 month. That's our release cadence.
Awesome. Well, we can try to get some ones raised. So team in the backstage, if you can find out who those are and let them go off mute.
Yeah, I can see them actually. Do you want to have Kadanda? Will I just allow him to talk?
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Yeah,
You know
there
how to
we
work
go.
this,
I'll
Paul.
ask him to unmute. We'll see. Kadanda?
Go ahead with your question, Kananda.
Maybe it doesn't work. Let's go back and let's just try taking the questions that we see on some of the chat then. Go ahead, Brad.
All right, sounds good. Now, one of the things that we had a lot of questions about, I want to cover real quick, is training for VCF. So a lot of people are saying, look, I've got to pass the test before I get the bits and those kind of things. And that is true. You do have to pass your certification to get the Advantage bits. But there are hands-on labs out there. You can take those online. You can take those at Explore. They're moderated at Explore and those kind of things. They will be at VMUG events and Connects and things like that as well. So that's one of the reasons why you want to attend an Explore. In Connects free cert sits, you will have the ability for hands-on labs to do that moderated. But again, hands-on labs are available all over the place. Paul mentioned it too, that if you're a VCF customer, you get training that's included in your subscription. So that's a change from the VMware days. And I think that's a big bonus. Being a subscriber, you get that training on there. And one thing I want to mention, I still talk to people that think that you have to have the certification. I'm sorry, you have to take the course before the certification. Broadcom dropped that a long time ago. So you can just go take the cert sit on that and you're good to go. And many people, I encourage you to take it, even especially if you're at an event that is free, go ahead and take it, because you will be able to. A lot of people have been able to pass with little or no setup on that, because you've been doing this for decades. So it should be good to go. All right, so piggybacking on the first question, is there a place that we can go to see like what Broadcom is working on as far as what new features are in, or suggest features that we would like to see as users?
Yeah, so I would hope many of you are actually in CTABs, and we do CTABs now with most of the Explore on tours and a number of other ones as well. So hopefully many of you participated in CTABs, and please engage there. Also feed into us through our AHA boards. So we actually have feedback boards that are available as VCF kind of feedback boards. We can send those links to everybody later, but we would love to see those. Those go straight to our product managers. They look at scoring of those in terms of likes, and then they feed back into product. And then the other thing is that as we do all of our Explore on tours, we're actually doing usually an update in terms of future product or what's the future, and you're going to hear some new announcements. All of those are actually get posted actually back onto our website and things. So we're trying to make more of that content available, and we'll continue to look at kind of sharing as much around future updates as product as they come. But please get in feedback to us through AHA boards. Please get feedback to us through, joining CTABs. And, feed it through your VMUG communities, right? As every one of your VMUG communities, your little chapters there, or big chapters sometimes, they all have VMware Broadcom experts in them. Feed them in that way as well. We listen strongly to what we hear from this community. So please do use that aspect and use that event and kind of, use your community as a feedback mechanism.
Great, thank you for that. Kind of shifting gears a little bit here, the partner ecosystem, there's some changes going on in the Broadcom partner ecosystem, and we just heard from one of the Broadcom Knights on your video earlier. So can you talk a little bit about the importance of Broadcom Knights and what role they're going to play, for our members and your customers as they start to deploy VCF?
No, I think it gets down to kind of what do we need from these, VMware experts overall, right? So a Knights program is actually very important, but think of those as experts that are also associated with our partners, right? And how can we actually drive through a partner ecosystem a set of expert partners and Knights associated with those expert partners. But VCDX, what it really implies is we need experts. We need the VCDX experts, we need architect experts, implement experts, administrator experts, and then effectively operations and support experts. So that's really what we would love to see. And so I think it just hopefully reinforces what I had shared a little earlier. So there's a bunch of questions coming in. So I just saw a question that actually came up on vSphere standard support. I believe it was vSphere standard support on 9.0. And so right now, yes, we've supported on VCF 9. Right now we have supported VCF and vSphere Foundation, which is VBF. And VBF is, of course, operations and vSphere. And so we're continuing. Those are the two that we're actually looking at trying to get adoption of for 9.0. In our backlog is support for vSphere Standard. There's not a commit date on that yet, but we're fully supporting vSphere Standard out there in the market. It's just still version 8 certified at the moment, but we're continuing to look at that.
Great. There's a lot of questions in the Q&A, Paul. So there's another one that stands out. Go for it. Scanning through here. Please continue to put those in the Q&A.
Yeah. Let's see. New messages. So there's a question about lots of rumors about no more VBF. No, VBF is in the market. We're committed on vSphere Foundation. So I don't know where rumors like that come from, but no, we think vSphere Foundation is important and we're continuing to support it.
Glad to hear that. And in the chat and some of the questions, some of the conversation is about if you're not, a large enterprise, how can you get to VCF and adopt VCF and run it? And I thought it was great to explore the Grinnell Mutual example. I think they're a 17-person IT department. What are you seeing out in the field with people that aren't the big names, that are well known all across the globe? But we're seeing, adoption. Hawk has numbers of, I think, 87% have adopted it. Our numbers are more than 50% have adopted it. And of course, we dip more into the SMB and commercial market as well. So can you speak a little bit about what you're having conversations with customers that are in that, commercial and commercial area, not necessarily the big enterprise?
Yeah, so one of the things that we talk about VCF and we talk about private cloud and all of the capabilities that you have in private cloud. However, it's really important that VCF 9, if you want to just move to VCF 9 and I want to just implement vSphere-based virtualization with operations, you absolutely can get there. In fact, it's very easy to get there, and we've made sure that those upgrade paths, if you just want to take a vSphere to a vSphere, or you want to take a vSphere on ops into a vSphere on ops, or you want to actually take, you've already implemented automation, or you've implemented a vSphere and vSAN, or an NSX, or you've implemented the full VCF, all of those upgrade pathways are possible. You do get the fleet management automatically off 9. But you don't have to, and you do have to implement the license server identity. There's a number of things like that, but you don't have to take everything. And we seem to, it seems like customers think, oh, I have to adopt everything and 100% of every feature to be able to get to 9. Not at all. So those upgrade pathways are very simple. I think it's a communication one where we haven't communicated that well enough. So we're trying to help on improving that for customers.
Yeah, and I think that's important to understand. You get VCF and you're not necessarily going to consume everything, day 2, but that's where you can do it where it makes sense for your organization. And that might be a month's journey, it might be a year's journey, but there's so much value in VCF. I would recommend, start picking off the things that make sense to you to begin with. We had a session earlier, we've got one coming up about vDefend and some of the simple things you can do in vDefend with VCF to secure your environment more. And that's things that a vAdmin can do. Or maybe when it comes time to look at your storage, maybe check out vSAN and go more into that as well. And then some of the automation tools. So I think that's important to know that it's not necessarily have to consume it all day 1. And that's very true in any IT subscription. We all have subscriptions for email services and sharing services, and you don't necessarily use them all, but you use enough to get the value out of them. Somebody had a question about the VCDX, so I just wanted to reiterate that. VCDX, that's great to hear that it is around. They've expanded on that. So just a few seconds touching on that slide that you had earlier so everybody understands VCDX is here.
Yeah. No, VCDX is here, and the new certification program will actually roll out over the next month. So I'm here announcing, a month ahead of it actually being ready for certifications. But yeah, keep an eye out, and hopefully many of you can become experts. There were some other questions actually on pricing, packaging, those kind of things. Well, there was one, I think, on what's the difference on VCF. What is it? VCF Edge, and VCF Edge is effectively a right price pointed thing for certain environments where we look at edge markets, which are smaller number of cores deployed into kind of data center edge environments. And there's actually a targeted full VCF capable solution. And it's full VCF because we see customers want to deploy container-based apps into the edge, or VM-based apps into the edge, or AI-ready apps into the edge. And so you need a more complete capability, which is why we look at a full VCF Edge. But it's a special price point for edge markets. VVF is core vSphere operations and a limited amount of vSAN actually included. So think of that as a hyper-converged capable system.
All right, here's a good question. So VMware announced the deprecation of vVols. So is there anything planning to replace vVols?
No, so vVols is interesting. We thought that there would be a huge amount of adoption of vVols over years, and it actually never achieved that. So we actually achieved a few percentile of total storage becoming vVol-based storage. And so it's challenging when you have kind of product efforts like that are significant to maintain, but don't get the level of adoption that you want. The vSAN capability actually does give you all of the capabilities you need for VM level data management that you need. And of course, we still have VMFS and we still have third-party storage that we're able to integrate and support, and we will continue to do that and continue to support that, where you'll see we're going to announce more on open networking stuff. You're going to see lots more around our open ecosystem. So we're absolutely committed on keeping the platform open and heterogeneous. But yeah, vVol never hit what do you call it, trajectory, the trajectory that we wanted. It just never hit it.
All right, so here's a question, and I'll just read it verbatim. To verify what Paul said, vSphere 9 support for Standard and Enterprise Plus are in the backlog, and Broadcom has not made a decision that Standard and Enterprise Plus will be discontinued. That's the question.
Yeah, well, that's a statement, and I would say the same thing. That's exactly where the statement kind of lies right now. But it's just right now we are so focused on, as we look at 9 and we've got the VVF, VCF kind of customers. We are working. I mean, when we got it out in June, we are working there, with every one of the customers, and how can we actually get more adoption of that? And so I think that's really what we're working through right now. But yeah, vSphere Standard, VVF, N Plus, which is for Europe markets, they're available. They're on 8X right now. But yeah, fully available as products.
All right, great. Well, I think we're coming up on our time here, and once you leave this webinar, you'll be able to go into other sessions. We've got multiple sessions that you can do, and then there's going to be a keynote later on from Chris McCain that is a great speaker as well, so you will want to attend that one. So, Paul, as we wrap up here, any closing thoughts for the VMUG audience?
No, I think the one thing I would just start with is hopefully you're seeing the level of focus we have on innovation. We think it's really important and we think there's nothing that compares with the level of automation and capabilities that we can bring to private cloud operations. And we want to continue to make that so. But to deliver on that, we need experts like you to actually help us implement that, help us achieve success for your customers, or you're part of a customer or part of a company that is implementing technology. We need you as experts. And to do that, we're trying to give you enablement resources, licenses, and free licenses where needed. Work with us on that. And together, I think we're making a fairly major change to the way data centers operate. So that's what we really want to achieve. So.
Yes, and I agree. I mean, the changes that are happening with VCF are significant. And when I'm at VMUGs and talk to members, they're very excited about the technology and how they can use it. And yes, there is a little bit of a learning curve. That's why it's important to get your certification. And of course, you can do that at VMUG and Broadcom and VMware events all throughout the year. So we hope to see you at one of these in the future.
Yeah,
all right, folks, so that'll wrap up.
Hope to catch up with them all soon. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Sorry, Brad, go ahead.
No, that's good. So our next sessions will be starting soon. So once you exit out of this webinar, you'll kind of be in the virtual lobby, and then you can choose what sessions you want to attend. And everybody have a great rest of the event. We thank you for participating. Paul, big thanks to you for spending time with the VMUG members.
Yeah, sure. And what I would ask is capture all of the questions that we had. We didn't get to every question. I do want to answer those questions. So we'll try to get back to everyone.
Yeah, we had like 100 questions, 50 of them we were able to answer, via typing, but we'll get back to everybody and we'll look at all this data.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.